What's good, YouTube? In today's video, I'm gonna give you guys my top 5 meta loadouts here to use in season 5. You guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like for the algorithm, subscribe, notifications turned on, and let's get into it. All right, hopping in here, our first gun today is going to be the MTZ-556. This is a top meta assault rifle, very fun to use, very low recoil. It can have a crazy fast bullet velocity. Overall, a great damage output, and it's just a great AR to use. So first thing, we're gonna go into the muzzle category. We're gonna go throw on a compensator, not a suppressor, because that's how it functions better. That's gonna be with the Kxpture spray compensator. I know a lot of people like to use either the Kxpture spray or the Zemin35, which is another really great option, just because it does stabilize out your vertical and your horizontal, as well as your firing aiming stability. The only downside is that you do lose some overall bullet velocity at 5%, which is not the greatest, especially if you're trying to make this thing really hit at range and also be able to beam people out the sky. Having something that lowers your bullet velocity is not the greatest. So I like to go for the Kxpture spray as my attachment here of choice. Barrel section, we go through on the MTZ Clinch Pro barrel. We pretty much have to go between this and the MTZ Drifter Heavy Long Barrel. The difference when you bring up the detailed statistics, you can see the effective damage range is greater on the Drifter Heavy as opposed to the Clinch Pro by only about a few meters. But when you look at the bullet velocity, we have a 26% increase here as opposed to only a 15% increase down here. So while you get an extra couple meters of effective damage range, you already are way out front of a majority of the other rifles in the game. So there's no real reason to have 52 and then also have a slower bullet velocity. That means you're not going to be able to pick people out of the air as fast. So it really doesn't matter if you have more damage range if your bullets are going to be traveling a lot slower. Especially with this build, you guys definitely want to have a great bullet velocity, and this is the ideal barrel to go with. So now you can go down to the underbarrel section. This is going to be an interchangeable attachment here that'll show you guys. And you can run it depending on if you're a really high skilled player, then you're not going to have any issue doing this at all. But I think this is a great option. So the first one is the Bruin Heavy Support Grip. This is just overall fantastic if you want to run this on this gun. Really stabilizes the gun out, and that's a great option. So you guys can run that, or you can go down to the ammunition side of things and throw in the 5.56 NATO high grain rounds, which are really going to bolster out your overall effective damage range, minimum, and your bullet velocity. You can see this is pretty absurd right here. 56 meters of effective damage range, and your bullet velocity is over 1,000 meters per second. So overall, it's going to feel super good. And I beamed so many people out the air because of this crazy fast bullet velocity. And also the recoil is very manageable, especially when you build it out the right way. So I like this when I'm playing on Rebirth Island. Magazine, we're going to go through on the 50 round drum. This kind of is what it is. You don't have to talk about this one too much. 50 round drum is the way to go. You guys should go ahead and run this. Lastly, in the stock section, we go through on the MTZ Marauder stock. This is just going to be overall to kind of help us stabilize out the recoil. You can see gun kick control and recoil control here. A nice 21, 9, and 8% increase. Definitely does help stabilize this thing out and make it very easy to use, especially because the iron sights are great. I mean, you can build the MTZ a variety of ways, but I like the iron sights and getting crazy bullet velocity. And this is just overall a fantastic build. Next up, I should show you guys the Superi 46. I know a lot of people are still going to want to run the Superi 46 kind of no matter what, and I should ideally give you guys the best build for it because it's not like it got nerfed into the ground or something like that. So let's hop into it here. First thing in the muzzle category, we're gonna throw on the Zemin35. This is pretty standard. The Superi has a little bit of that visual recoil, which you can pretty much combat using the Zemin35, and that's really all you need. Otherwise, you just are gonna be fully taken care of here. You just got the Zemin, or you don't run it and you're having more kick to it, but you should be fully taken care of with the Zemin, and that's all you need for recoil control purposes. Barrel section, we don't want to go down here to the Bore 99. We want to go over to the Zulu. Just that's because we're going to get that nice crouch movement speed, which is not like a huge thing. You get aim locking speed, and you also don't actually lose any of your effective damage range. That was one thing that I found myself repeatedly losing gunfights with, is running the Bore 99, just because I was having less effective damage range than people that were either running A, no barrel, or B, they're running the Zulu OP3 barrel. They're getting that great strafe speed, so I definitely say I'd recommend for you guys to go ahead and run this. Stay away from the Bore 99. I don't believe it to be that great anymore. In the barrel section, we're gonna go down here and throw on the DR6 hand stop. This is pretty simple. This is something that I think is a very minor thing to look at, but between the XRK Edge and the DR6, you get a little bit more of that strafe speed, like using the XRK Edge as opposed to the DR6. But for whatever reason, I found that my gun was jumping a little bit too much to the point where it's kind of annoying, and so I switched over to the DR6. A little bit of that jump I was having is completely gone, and I'm like, okay, you know, I'm not going to be messing with that anymore. This just works out great. So I'd recommend if you guys run the DR6 and not really have to go back to the XRK Edge. Magazine, we're gonna go down here to the 40 round mag. This is pretty standard, tried and true, pretty simple. We want to go throw on the 40 round mag. And lastly, in the stock section, there's a couple options in here. You could go for something like the Jack Cutthroat, which will be a great option. You could also, what would be my preference, is go for the Rescue 9 stock just to get the maximum increase to your overall mobility. It really does help to be able to run away from people very fast. I have ran that no stock attachment. That's, you know, pretty solid as well, but you will get a decent bit of that kick. And so I think the Rescue 9 is just pretty much perfect for any and all scenarios. And so I'd say for you guys to go in and run this is my full Superi 46 build. Next up is basically going to be my favorite AR in the game right now. That's the Holger 556. This thing is absolutely incredible, and I think you guys are definitely going to want to be able to use this thing. So let's hop into it. First thing, in the muzzle category, we're going to go through on the VT7 Spiritfire Suppressor. This is kind of unlike a lot of our ARs right now. We're running a compensator of some sort, like a Casa's Break or something else like that. But this gun in particular, you can actually run the VT7 and get your, you know, recoil control, bullet velocity and range, all that sort of fun stuff. And it's going to be really, really good. So I really enjoy having that extra bit, you know, 5, and 8% increase. Really nice, makes the Holger definitely more effective. Barrel section, go ahead and we're going to throw in the largest barrel in here, which is the Cryos 6 match barrel. You notice the increase in bullet velocity and range, recoil control, and of course gun kick control. You do lose a bit of mobility, but that's not really something we care about too much. We can see our effective damage range here is about 46.4 meters. The MTZ, when we have the just regular barrel on, no high grain, is about 47 to 49. I think it's about 49. So then we add the high grains on there, makes it even farther. But overall, this is still really solid, and we have about an 855 meters per second bullet velocity, which feels great. It's not going to make you feel like you're lacking in any capacity. Under barrel section, I think you guys should definitely go down here and throw in the Bruin Heavy support grip. I've kind of gone back and forth between running this and running a stock attachment to help with the recoil, but overall I did feel the Bruin Heavy made more of a difference in my firing aiming stability. Recoil control is one thing where it minimizes the recoil, but when you actually stabilize the gun, it makes it so that even when you have a little bit of recoil, it's very easy to manage. It's much more manageable to Bruin Heavy as opposed to a stock. Now magazine, this is basically the only drawback in my opinion to the Holger. The fire rate maybe is a little bit slower than maybe some people would enjoy. I personally find it all right, but the 40 round mag is going to be your kind of only drawback to this gun here. I really wish there'd be like a 50 or a 60. That would be my preference, but you have to throw on the 40. Lastly, optic section, and go through on the Jack Glassless. This is absolutely beautiful right here. I love the Jack Glassless. You guys should always go for this. When you combine all these attachments together, you get a nice silenced, you know, effective long range AR that you guys are gonna be able to absolutely delete people with. So I'd highly recommend for you guys to go for this, and this can be my full build, the Holger 556. Next up, I want to give you guys a build here for the FJX Horus. This is a top meta SMG. I think a lot of people are going to be liking here a little bit more so. So the barrel section is going to be the first thing we're going to do. We're going to go through on the Sin 9 long barrel. So this does give you the increase to your bullet velocity and range, which is pretty nice. You can see your effective damage range is only about 11.7 meters, and we definitely want to increase that because of course the Mart is heavy, and you know this doesn't actually do anything besides your overall recoil control. And I really enjoy having a little bit of extra range, making my bullet velocity faster. It does make a pretty sizable, you know, difference and increase, and you will be outgunning a lot of other SMGs now with this barrel as opposed to the Mart is heavy. Barrel section up, barrel section, muzzle section, we're going to throw on the Zeman 35. Of course, you have to throw on your barrel before you get to the muzzle. We're going to throw on the Zeman 35. This is going to stabilize the gun out. Don't have to do too much apart from that. This is just overall a great attachment we use on so many of our SMG builds. Under barrel section, we go through on the Kimura Sephiric vertical grip. So this is a bit of a newer one to use here. We're not actually going to use any of the other random shenanigans. Of course, we don't have the option to go use, you know, our XRK Edge, our DR6 here, just off rip. So a lot of people are switching over to the Kimura vertical grip for aim walking speed, gun kick control, vertical recoil, and of course, movement speed. It does make you feel a little bit faster, kind of helps you feel like you're keeping up a bit more so with the Superi. Just because obviously that's been the fastest SMG in the game ever since it got added in. So you guys definitely want to go ahead and run this. It's a great option. Magazine, we go through on the 60 round mag. There's no difference between the 48 and the 60. I know you can't really see as much behind my face cam, but when you use the 48, you have 48 rounds. You don't get any extra penalties for going for the 60. It's basically like the only gun in the game where you don't have any penalties unless for whatever reason they're fixing it. It's just glitching out on my end, but basically 60 is definitely the way to go, and for whatever reason, if it's glitching out for you, if it looks a little bit different, go for the 48, you'll probably be fine, but overall, the 60 is definitely my choice and my preference. Stock section for the last thing, we're gonna go through on the Ripper Light stock. just to kind of give us a little bit extra mobility. I really did enjoy running the no stock mod on this, but they did make the recoil a lot worse, and especially since we're using the iron sights on this gun, we don't need any of that extra jiggle, so we're just gonna go through on the Ripper Light and pretty much call it a day with that. You get great mobility, and this is gonna be my full build for it. Last but definitely not least, I want to give you guys an updated build here for the Kar98K. I don't see as many people using it, myself included. I kind of gone back to an AR like the MTZ, the Holger 556, stuff like that. So I want to give you guys a build here that's gonna make this thing truly effective for you guys that really still enjoy sniping. So first thing in here is gonna be the Sonic Suppressor L. You guys definitely want to go ahead and run this undetectable by the radar, and it does give you your bullet velocity and damage range increase. Just to kind of put this out there for you guys that don't know, your effective damage range, that 58.7 meters as it sits right now, is going to be your top end in which you can get a one-shot headshot. So that 57.8 is, or 58.7, my bad, is the farthest we can get a one-shot headshot. So we need to increase that out as much as possible. Barrel section, and that's going to help us do that, is going to be the 7.62 long barrel, giving us a nice increase to our bullet velocity and damage range, pushing it out to 65.7 meters. I really did enjoy when they were able to just have this thing be a little bit farther out. They did nerf it down from about, was it 85 down to 75 meters. I really didn't think that was necessary. I think they could have just messed with the aim assist on the gun like they did. That'd have been perfectly fine, considering not that many people use it anymore, probably because they cannot hit their shots. And I mean, it's just a little bit harder to be able to hit your shots with this thing. Now skipping the underbarrel section, going straight down to the ammunition. We're gonna go throw on the high grain rounds, and this once again does extend out your overall range, pushing you out to the furthest possible maximum distance you can get with this thing to make it effective as a one shot. 75.6 meters. This is the farthest you can get. This is what makes this thing, truly awesome. When you run these three attachments, that's basically your damage, your range, all that sort of stuff. This is as far as it can get out there. And then for our other attachment, we go into the optics section. We go throw on the last optic down here, which is going to be the Range Caller V3.4. If you guys don't want to run this, because this is a nice 7x magnification, it is the OG Kar98K look from Warzone 1. You guys can run the SPX 6.6, which also has an 11x magnification. So I prefer to go for the Range Caller and just keep it very simple. I think it works better for me. And then lastly, in the laser section, we're gonna go throw on the SL Razorhawk, which is gonna speed us up and stabilize us out. Keep in mind, you will have a little bit of that flashlight visible with an ADS, and of course the laser. You should be able to down people pretty quick and efficiently, as this is one of those snipers that you want to be able to just kind of be aggressive with, not just sit back and camp like you would with like a cat AMR, for instance. That's not a very mobile gun in any capacity. So this is going to be my full build right here. Hope you guys enjoyed this top 5. You guys did, give it a like, subscribe, notifications turned on, check out this other video on screen, and I'll see you all next time.